technology has played a huge role in events that have happened, world events that have happened in recent months. And I would be remiss if I didn't include a tech tip this spring on exactly how this has happened and what impact it has. Simply because it certainly is relevant, and it's something our kids really need to know about. But it's also something that I feel can have some profound effects on school and school reform and the debate in education. Most of what we see in terms of reports on the ground in countries like Egypt or Tunisia or Libya has come from citizen journalists. These are people armed with social media tools, oftentimes just with a cell phone, and are able to get word out via different social media sites like Twitter or Facebook or blogs or other methods of publishing online. And these are tools that are available to everybody, and they're tools that our students could also have in their pockets, but they're also tools that teachers and parents have available to them. Basically, what we're seeing in the world, I believe, is an inversion of the traditional hierarchies of power. So we see in places like Libya or Tunisia, where previously there had been very much top-down and some would say oppressive regimes of government. The people, now armed with these communication tools, are empowered to rise up and usurp that power. I think this very much resembles how a lot of other social organizations, not just abroad but also in this country, especially education, is structured. So I think it's something that schools really need to look at. Not just schools, but any kind of organization that's structured with a very top-down method. And in fact, this fall I proposed a session that was accepted at the ISTE conference. This is the International Society of Technology and Education, called "The Fixes in Social Mobilization and School Reform." This will be held in Philadelphia and at the end of June. And basically, what this session is, it's a model session or a model lesson session that's going to show how a class of either college students or high school students learning about citizen journalism can actually use those tools. And this is presented as a model for discussion. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring on Gary Steger as a guest speaker to the class to talk about an issue in education that's not been represented well in the media. And it's the role of the students in the class who supposedly by this point in their course have already become familiar with a lot of these social media tools. It'll be their job to get that word out and spread it among the network. And so all of a sudden, I think our session has taken on much greater relevance after these events lately, not just in the Middle East, but also domestically. If you look at what's happening in Wisconsin, it's the same kind of issue where we have people in the government who were, by the way, elected in. So it's not exactly the same sort of thing. But we have people in the government who are kind of flexing their muscles and enacting some more top-down reforms, and the people that affects, namely teachers and students, are speaking out and feeling oppressed by this. So, in some ways, this is going to be a form of activism, this session, but it's also going to be opened up for discussion. And what role does social media play in schools, and what what should we be doing about it? And so I wanted to take a little bit of time here today to kind of go through with you how how a citizen journalist can set up basically a distribution network that can be almost untouchable by any kind of authority that's trying to restrict that use. And as you notice in these Middle Eastern countries, the first thing that they seem to have done whenever any kind of uprising happens is they restrict communication. They restrict the internet. They shut down mobile services, and it appears that in most cases this has done nothing more than upset the public and cause a backlash. But let me click into another thing here. But I just want to show you how just with a cell phone or a smartphone there can be some huge amplification of what that phone can capture. So these are these are some of the more common tools. Twitter, Quick, Livestream, Vimeo, Blip TV, iPad, Posterous, so on and so forth. And I'll post some links to these. I'll post a link to this wiki I've been building on my blog. This is still very much in construction mode, but the tools are all right here. But I want to focus just on three of them. One of them is Quick, and this is just one of many different tools that are available for most phones. I use Quick. I show Quick because it seems like it's the most universally used as far as different phone types go, at least that I have found. But what Quick is it's a social media tool that lets you stream live from a smartphone that has a camera on it. So if you're somewhere and a big riot breaks out and you whip out your cell phone, open up your Quick application, and you press broadcast, you can broadcast live on the internet what's going on in front of you. And while it's broadcasting, Quick will be recording what you broadcast on their site. And when your broadcast is done, it can then be set to automatically post to your YouTube account or any number of other accounts as well. It can also be set up so that as soon as you start broadcasting, Quick automatically sends a message through your Twitter account to the people you follow on Twitter saying, "Hey, I'm broadcasting, check this out." And from there, all kinds of other distribution can happen. Another one here is Posterous. Posterous is a service that lets you post to multiple different web services just by sending an email to post@posterous.com. And if you have your account set up and it recognizes your email, it can automatically decide where do we post this? Is this a blog post that you want on your blog? Is this a YouTube video you wanted uploaded to YouTube? Did you want us to post this on Blip TV for you? Is this something you just want to have posted in Twitter? And so from Posterous, just sending a quick email, you can upload all kinds of stuff, videos, pictures, text, you name it. And then the final one, and this is one I've been playing with the last few days, is IPatio. And what IPatio does is it allows you to podcast from your phone. When you set up your account, you register your phone number with them. They give you a 4-digit PIN. You call their 800 number. You enter in your PIN, and you start talking right away. And it'll record what you're saying. And then as soon as you're done, you hang up the phone, and it will publish your audio to the internet as an MP3 file that people can listen to. But it will also allow you to post your messages in various other places. So let's say you have your IPatio account set up so that when you're out and about and recording podcasts, then you can when you're done with your recording, it can be set to automatically post to an iTunes an iTunes channel, for instance. But the other interesting thing about IPatio is IPatio also does voice-to-text transcription. So when you're done with your IPatio podcast, it will also write up a transcript of everything that you said or everything that was said, and publish it as a blog post. So there's numerous ways that IPatio can be used for distribution. And so then I took some of this week, and I decided, well, let's map this out. So let's, for instance, with Posterous, all these different branches coming out of this center little square here are all different web services that you can set in Posterous. You can set up to automatically post to. And this isn't, by far, is not complete, but from, like, for instance, from Blip TV, you can set Blip TV to then post anything that you post to your Blip channel to any of these other services, and then you can also set up and there's a number of these, but TubeMogul is one example of another further distribution tool, where if you have a TubeMogul or something similar set up, you can have it monitoring an account of yours like YouTube, and say, well, if I have uploaded a video to YouTube, I want TubeMogul to automatically take that and redistribute it among all these other networks. Same thing with Twitter. A message posted in Twitter. Let's say you posted a 140 character message. Maybe it includes a link to something. If you have a tool like Packradius set up, and these are tools like TubeMogul, Packradius, and Ping FM are kind of like almost like glue tools. You don't really use these yourself. You set them up so that they can do some automation for you. And Twitter will then, or Packradius will then take your links that you post in Twitter and post them on Historius, Instapaper, Pinboard, and Digo. Same thing with Ping FM is a service you can set up to monitor your Twitter account or any number of other accounts. And whenever something new is posted, it will automatically redistribute that content among a whole bunch of other services. So just by sending one email of content from your cell phone using Posterous, you can automatically have that information published across all these different platforms. And same thing with Quick. So Quick will automatically post to any of these accounts that you set up for it. With TubeMogul, you can then set up, you can then redistribute that content to all these other places, and then from Blip can then be set to post to all these other things. And then the same thing with Twitter with Packradius and Ping FM again. So there's a huge distribution network that could be created there. IPatio is a little bit smaller since it's pretty much just audio. But IPatio will post to your iTunes account, and it will create an RSS feed of the podcast. Well, from that RSS feed, you can use something like Twitter feed and FeedBurner to redistribute that even further. And from FeedBurner, you can then publish to a blog or a WordPress. And then with Twitter feed, you can then post to Twitter, status.net, hello text, and Facebook. And then from Twitter, use Packradius and Ping FM again. So, if you set up a distribution network like this, and for each of these tools, and went out into the field with your cell phone, it would be almost impossible for somebody to completely shut you down, short of shutting down the network that you post on. And even then, there's ways people get around that. So, this is one way that you can distribute content. The other thing that you really need in order to get content really out there is that on some of these networks you have to develop a following or have a community there to receive them. And so I think this is something that we really need to consider in education because, well, for one, it could be very disruptive. But then two, cutting off all these things could also be equally disruptive. So that's citizen journalism.